Ever felt like you're just guessing, making these huge business decisions on gut feel, kind of crossing your fingers and hoping it works out? Yeah, that's called flying blind. And honestly, it's a terrifying way to operate. So today, we're going to dive into marketing research. We're going to see how to go from pure guesswork to actually knowing what to do and how to turn all that data into decisions you can feel good about. So here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll look at why so much research just flat out fails. Then, I'll show you a framework that actually works. After that, we'll get into how tech has totally changed the game, and we'll finish up by looking at the new problems all this data is creating. All right, let's just jump right into the big problem, shall we? Bad data is actually worse than having no data at all. Why? Because it gives you this false confidence to charge ahead and make the wrong call. And the culprit, pretty much every time, is just poorly designed research. Okay, you've seen one of these before, right? A restaurant comment card. Menu, good or bad? Seems easy enough. But this is a masterclass in how not to do research. I mean, the questions are so vague, they're basically useless. And here's what happens. Let's say, 90% of your customers circle bad next to menu. So, what now? Seriously? What do you do? Fire the chef? Are the prices too high? Maybe they just hate the font you used. You have no idea. This data isn't helpful. It's not actionable. It just leaves you with more questions than you started with. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we stop collecting all this useless information? Well, there's a secret. It's a way of thinking that completely flips the usual process upside down. The key? It's all about starting at the end. It's called the IDEO model, and its whole job, its entire reason for being, is to make sure you never collect useless data again. It's designed to create this rock-solid connection between the research you're doing and what you're actually trying to achieve in the business. And this is the part that feels a little weird at first, but it's absolutely crucial. You work backwards. You don't start by thinking about surveys or focus groups. No, you start with your business objective. What's the goal? Say, increasing market share. Okay. Then you figure out the key decision you have to make to get there, like which ad campaign should we run? And only then, at the very end of the line, do you ask, what information do we need to make that decision? Here's a simple way to think about it. It's like planning a vacation, right? You don't start by picking your transportation. You don't just decide, I'm taking a train, without knowing where you're going. You pick the destination first. The objective, where you want to go, always comes first. Okay, so how does this look in the real world? It's actually pretty straightforward. You can turn the IDEO model into your personal playbook just by asking 3 really simple but powerful questions. And you ask them before you even think about collecting a single piece of data. Question number 1, what's the objective? Like, what does success actually look like? Are we trying to boost sales, build up our brand awareness, something else entirely? This is your destination on the map. Okay, second question, what's the decision? To get to that destination, what specific choice do we have to make? Are we talking about a new product feature, a change in pricing? This is what connects that big, lofty goal to a real-world action. And then, and only then, do you ask the third question. What information do we need? What specific facts, what data would let us make that decision with confidence? Boom! Now you know exactly what your research needs to go out and find. All right, so once you've nailed down exactly what info you need, the next part of the story is how you get it. And this part has been completely turned on its head. The biggest change of all, we've gone from actively asking people questions to just listening. And we can think something called consumer-generated media, or CGM for that. Just think about it for a second. Every single product review on Amazon, every tweet, every comment on a forum, it's all public data now. I mean, those little conversations that people used to have privately over a backyard fence, they're now happening out in the open, online for anyone to see. And you can't overstate how big a deal this is. It used to be that researchers had to lead the conversation, right? They asked the questions. But now they can find out what really matters to people just by listening in on the raw, unfiltered conversations they're already having with each other. But, listening to what people type online, that's just scratching the surface. The really wild stuff, the new frontier, is using tech to measure the things people can't tell you, or maybe the things they won't tell you. We're talking about getting scarily close to reading minds. So, welcome to the fascinating world of biometric research. What is that? It's all about measuring the stuff your body does without you thinking about it, your involuntary responses. We're talking heart rate, where your eyes are looking, even what your brain is doing, all to see how you truly react to something like an ad or a new product. Eye tracking is a great example of this. You literally follow where someone's eyes are looking on a screen or a product package. From that, you can create these things called heat maps that show you exactly what parts are grabbing all the attention. It totally cuts through what people say they looked at and shows you what they actually saw. Okay, but what if we could go even deeper? I mean, what if we could peek directly into the brain's response? Well, that's the whole idea behind neuromarketing. So, using tools like an EEG cap, researchers can measure brain activity to see things like excitement or frustration. And get this, Frito-Lay did a study like this and found something amazing. Their brain scans showed that people don't just put up with that orange Cheetos dust that gets all over your fingers. Deep down in their subconscious, they get this little thrill from it. It's like this small act of messy rebellion. Now, tell me, how are you ever going to get that kind of insight from a good/bad comment card? So let's recap. We have more data than at any point in human history, and we've got these incredibly powerful tools to collect it. But, and this is a big but, this explosion of information has created a whole new world of problems, and frankly, responsibilities for marketers. Just try to wrap your head around this number. It's estimated that 90%, 90, of all the data in the entire world was created in just the last 2 years. That's insane. And for anyone in marketing, this big data flood is two things at once: a gigantic opportunity and a very real risk of just completely drowning in it all. So this leads to some new dilemmas, right? First, there's analysis paralysis. You have so much data, you're just frozen, unable to make a call. Then you've got the problem of DIY research. The tools are so easy now that anyone can do it, but without expertise, they often end up with biased, useless results. And maybe most importantly, we're facing huge ethical questions. You've probably heard the story about Target, right? How their data models figured out a teenage girl was pregnant even before her own family knew. It forces us to ask some really tough questions about privacy and where we draw the line. And really, that brings us right back to where we started. And it's summed up perfectly by the Cheshire Cat. If you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. In a world with infinite data, with endless roads to go down, the single most important thing you can do is know your destination. That is the one big takeaway here. Before you look at a single spreadsheet, before you run a single survey, you have to be able to answer that one simple question: what is our objective?